Welcome back, everyone. I'm terribly sorry about that. I think we lost some power in the final control, but it seems to be all fixed and up and running again. And while you've been away, we've managed to find a female leopard. Now this is Karula, it looks like to me. And you know what? I was thinking this morning. We did come and have a look in this area, and we couldn't find them. They had moved off from the kill. But we at that pan just south of where she was with that impala kill, and she's probably been hiding in the shade in this area. She's been full. There was no need for her to move, and I think she's decided to come and lay close to the waterhole. Maybe it's a bit cooler here, possibly had a drink earlier. So what a nice surprise. So we were unable to find cheetah, but we managed to find a leopard. Just shows you never know. I always say this, but you don't know what you're going to bump into. And it was Craig who actually spotted it as we drove past here. And we stopped to have a look because on our way past this area earlier, we heard Franklin alarm calling and squirrels. And we had a good look around, but we couldn't see anything. But I was sure that there was a leopard in this area, so I'm almost positive that they probably saw this leopard, or maybe even one of her cubs. That I'm sure they're probably around here too somewhere. Maybe hiding in a drainage line or under a thick bush, trying to get out of the heat. What a nice surprise. That's great. And you can see the flies are bothering her quite a bit. She keeps stroking her face. Let's see, she might just be changing position, but there she's sitting up nicely. I can hear a black-bellied bustard calling behind us. You might be able to pick up on the sound every now and then. It's still very, very warm this afternoon, even though there's quite a bit of cloud cover and it's cooled down slightly, but again that humidity is very high, and you can see how Karula is panting there, panting very heavily. But it's possibly, you know what, I don't think she's that full because we're not sure when they lost the kill, but probably still a fairly full belly, and also the heat does cause them to pant, and it's a leopard's way of cooling the body. It's panting, trying to increase the oxygen flow through the body too. And I'm sure all of you, and it sounds like most of you or all of you are very excited to see this beautiful leopard. Jen, you don't have anything to worry about. There are no crocodiles in this little pan. It's far too small, and it's I would call this more of a mud wallow / pan than an actual dam. It's very, very small, and this is seasonal. This is only filled up because of the rain that we've had. But we know earlier in the month or in December, this was completely dry. So there are no crocodiles or even hippo around here. I don't think this is very, very deep. Very peaceful sitting, watching these leopard like this, resting in the shade. And I think she's got an ideal spot there. She's lying on a bit of sand or a bit of mud. I'm assuming it's probably quite cool and right in the shade in that long grass. Look at that reflection. Well spotted there, Craig. Nice reflection of her in the water. And there, she just lay down. So, Helmut, you wanted to know if I've ever been scared by a leopard in a tree while driving. No, I've never been scared by a leopard in a tree, but I am, I've spotted leopards in trees many times before, but I never got a fright or been scared by one. I've got a fright a few times from tracking leopards, walking on foot and trying to look for them, and one or two occasions where leopards growled at me or come out of a bush close to us. We just didn't see it. It was hiding. But nothing serious, nothing too serious. Touch wood, not a proper charge or anything like that. But I have had some close encounters with leopards before, but you've got to be very careful all the time. I'm just trying to think now. I remember a sighting once. This was funny. Guests that I used to drive or knew quite very well. They used to come to the lodge a lot, and we were all out on safari one day, and we were looking for leopards, and we drove around, and we got into an area up on a crest, very open, clear area, and we drove along the road. We were scanning, and this leopard was lying right next to the road, and we saw it last minute. We got a bit of a fright, the leopard got a bit of a fright, but everyone was okay, and we sat to watch the leopard. Managed to reverse the vehicle and sit and view this leopard who was lying in the shade, and we reversed under a big marula tree, and we were watching the leopard, and we were all focused on the leopard, and he got up. It was a young male, and he got up and he moved, and he went to a little pan, much like this one, and went to go and drink. And eventually we thought, okay, we've had a lovely view, and we left. And we called some other people in so they could view him, and they stayed with him for a while. And they said, okay, they're going to, eventually got an update on the radio, and they said they're going to leave the leopard, and he's back at the kill. And we got back to the lodge, and I said to the other guys, where was the kill? We didn't see a kill. And they said, no, in a big marula just off the road further back from the pan. And we couldn't understand. We found out we had parked under the tree where the kill was. It was in the tree above us, and no one saw it. We were also focused on the leopard on the ground. We didn't notice a big impala carcass right above us in the tree. It just shows you've got to always be aware of what's around you. Now I'm going to sit here a little while with Karula, see what she gets up to. Tristan's got another bird he'd like to show you. Thank you, James. Now, good luck with your shift towards the north. I wonder if we're going to get some rain. There's some seriously ominous clouds building up basically to our west. You can see that. Wonderful. I do hope we get rain, but I'm not sure. There's lightning in the distance, a bit of thunder, but it might just be building. I'm not sure if it's going to result in anything. Karula is still relaxing. She's enjoying the shade. It is extremely, extremely hot. A lot of flies around, but it's really a wonderful sight. It's very nice. There's a bit of a breeze that's just picked up because of the clouds. I've just noticed something that I'd like to show you. Just at the end of this little patch of water, just on the water's edge over there. There we go. You can see the two yellow butterflies, broad-bordered grass yellows. They're probably trying to get some moisture from the pan. That's what those are. Lovely little butterflies. So there's still, just always remember, there's a lot going on around you while you are sitting with predators or any sighting. Enjoy what's going on in the bush. Now, someone asked me earlier, we just did a Facebook Live, and somebody asked me where the cubs are. I'm not sure, but I do think they are in this area. I did have Franklin and a squirrel alarm calling. As I said, just before we found her, or actually, we were on our way to Cheetah Plains. I heard the alarm calls. We stopped. We searched this area. Couldn't find anything. and then drove to Cheetah Plains, and on our way back, Craig spotted her just next to the water hole here. So they definitely are in this area. I'm just not sure exactly where, but you know, that's a leopard. They can hide. I think because it's so hot, they've probably gone into a drainage line somewhere. They're hiding maybe in the shade or possibly up in the trees. You never know. Actually, speaking of that, why don't I just scan the trees quickly? I mean, wouldn't it be great to see a young leopard in the tree again? I don't see anything at the moment, just some marula branches. Beautiful trees for them to lie in. Lots of marula trees around here. But no sign of young Shungile or Hosana. There's a black-bellied bustard calling behind us. I'm sure you can hear it. And a few birds. There's white-browed scrub robins, Cape turtle doves. Just some ambient sound that you might be able to pick on. Some of them are probably a little bit faint. You won't be able to hear them. But wonderful calls in the bush. Now, Tristan has been doing some amazing, or he's had some amazing finds, and now he's got another surprise for you. Let's head over to him and see what it is. I definitely won't try and pick up Karula, James. I think this leopard would take me to pieces. She has not moved. Very, very relaxed, very comfortable. Hopefully she's cooling down a bit. I must be honest, it doesn't feel like the temperature has changed much. There's still lightning in the distance, but it doesn't seem to phase her. Now, we had a glimpse of a leopard, an elephant. An elephant came through here quickly, splashed some water on itself, and then disappeared. We thought it was going to drink or stay. It didn't. Purely came through, splashed some water on itself, and then walked off in that direction. But literally, as quick as it came in, it disappeared. Don't know why, but interesting. Not a drink, nothing, just splashed some water and then moved on. It was interesting to see. Karula didn't even move. She didn't flinch. She didn't even lift her head up to look. So I think what happened, I think these leopards are so intelligent. They can smell these animals. They can hear an elephant. Probably heard that it was just one elephant and heard it splashing on the other side of the pan. So there's no threat, no danger. She wasn't worried. Elephant could do its thing. It didn't see the leopard and then moved on. Very interesting interaction because she didn't move at all. So who knows why that is? That would be my theory, but I'm not sure. Very interesting. Can see, I think, a few little flies bothering her. The paw scratching her face every now and then. Tanis in Canada, hello to you, and very interesting question. Now, Tanis would like to know, do all the lodges in the area name the animals that they see, or the for example, like the leopards or lions? And they do, Tanis, to an extent. Now, I've had this conversation with some of you before, and I know a lot of you won't necessarily agree with me. Some may not. I don't really like naming the animals, to be honest. I have to be honest, I'm sorry. I don't. And the reason why, and when I take guests on safari, the reason why I don't really like to go into too many names and that from the animals with the guests is because these are wild animals. You can never guarantee which ones you're going to see. You can never guarantee how they're going to behave or anything like that. They are wild animals. The purpose of naming animals within the areas is so that guides and people working in the areas can kind of recognize which animals are moving through, which animals are territorial. And obviously for us on Safari Live, it is great. They are becoming characters, animals that you are seeing very regularly because we operate in a certain area. But if we went on safari into other areas, you'd see different male leopards, you'd see different lions. And that's still going to happen on Safari Live. We're going to get new leopards, we're going to get new lions coming in. So that, with that taken into account, that's why I don't like naming the animals, purely because they are wild, and I think we need to draw a line at some point. But again, with us, Safari Live, it's different. With all of you, you're getting to know these animals. You're seeing them on a regular basis because they are territorial, and we get to know them. And again, for the guides, knowing which animals are around, it is important. But lodges and areas name the animals differently. Now, a lodge I used to work at, we would refer to the animals based on territories, on the areas that they kept. So there'd be a road named Vomba Road, for example, and there was a very well-known leopard that we used to see. We called her the Vomba female because that was the central part of her territory. Now, in other areas, they name the leopards different things. I mean, up here, the Karula, for example, very different name, and it's because, or it means peace or peaceful, I believe. And then the Anderson male, I mean, that's very different. Why they called it the Anderson male, I don't know. If any of you know why, that would be interesting to find out. I mean, I've heard some leopards being called Tyson. Now, you see, I don't agree with that. Why would you call a leopard that? If anything, you would think that they deserve an African name because they are in Africa, if you are going to name them. But again, I just think, we need to be careful with anthropomorphizing these animals too much, giving them human qualities. They are wild animals, and we need to constantly remember that and remind ourselves. And as I said, a lot of people don't agree with me, and that's okay. It's an opinion that I've got, and I don't often enjoy naming the animals, but it is different, and it is different for us on Safari Live and working in areas, certain areas. You name the prides of lions purely based on territories and which lions are around, so you do know them, and you can tell your guests a bit of their history. Where do they come from? How many lions are there? How much offspring have they had? Same with Karula. How many cubs have they had? All of that is interesting information. But if you've got first-time safari goes, it's just an incredible experience to see a female leopard, and it's amazing. So enjoy the moment. Don't worry about names. Don't worry about anything else. I think it distracts a little bit from that wilderness experience. But again, it'll be interesting to know what all of you think. And I suppose that's a wonderful thing about Safari Live. Many different personalities guiding. We've all got slightly different views, but at the end of the day, we're all conservation driven. We're all driven about the well-being of the animals in the area, and showcasing these animals to you and what the importance they play for safaris, for Africa, and for viewers and for tourists. So, yeah, that's all from me. Now, Tristan is still sitting with that wonderful big male leopard, Tingana. Let's head over to him and see what he is up to. Walk far this afternoon, so you do deserve a bit of a rest. We'll see you back at camp just now, though, a little bit later. And I wonder if we're going to get some rain. We're still sitting, contemplating. The lightning is getting closer. Thunder's getting a bit closer. Karula has not moved. She is not getting closer. She's stayed in the same position. And look at her, still relaxing next to the water. Now, I think what we are going to do is, you know what, we've had a lovely sighting of her. She's been very relaxed, very calm, very peaceful. So I think we'll move on. And then I heard what Tristan said about the Anderson male, and apparently it's named after a drainage line on Mala Mala, so that's interesting. So again, it's another area that they obviously name based on where the animal is either born or a part of their territory, which is an area they frequent. So interesting. Thought I heard something, nothing. But I think we're going to leave Karula. I doubt she's going to move now. It's still hot. The other thing is she's possibly waiting for us to leave, and then she might get up and move around. Animals do that. Sometimes they know the vehicles are there. They don't like to be followed. They'll rest, lie down until the vehicles move, and then they get up and do something and move around. But always fantastic to see her, and hopefully we'll see her tomorrow. You never know, maybe with another kill, maybe with the cubs. So let us move on from here. and see what else we can find while we still got a bit of light. Now, as I mentioned, there's lightning in the distance, and it sounds like Tristan has got a wonderful view of the lightning and Tingana.